There stood a man-made monolith in the heart of the forests of upstate New York. A mansion compound, regal and royal, carved out of nature as if commanding it back so that it may live there. A confident heiress, Ilse, in her 40s, walked the ample courtyard with the twins, Kim and Cam. Trailing behind them were a few faceless servants that buzzed behind her like insects. There was a long howl that rolled off the winds through the courtyard. "There was a good moon tonight. He is appeased," said Ilse, who softly stroked a white lapdog she lovingly carried under her arm. Cam, who was young, powerful, tall, and lean, replied, "It's getting harder and harder to tell these days." Kim almost finished Cam's sentence when she added, "Seems like nothing appeases him anymore." "Don't blaspheme," said the matron. The three walked through the mansion while servants upon servants tended various essential tasks. "Are we doing a ritual tonight?" asked Cam. "No, but I want the family together. We've been so divided lately. I feel that we should dine together to show our devotion to one another," said Ilse, softly shaking and kissing at her sheltered little dog. Kim and Cam stole soulful glances at each other. Ilse noticed these looks and scoffed with disgust. She tossed her little dog, comically disregarding it, and it made a little helpless yelp. "Really? Show some decorum," said Ilse. She growled slightly and inhumanly as warning, but didn't let her anger show. The three made their way to a barn. Ilse pushed open the barn door. Nothing seemed odd from a glance. Hay, pigs, cows, horses. A huge man built like a tank, taller than most men had right to be, sharpened knives than a back room, covered in red. His blonde hair was matted in blood and gore, as was his butcher's apron. Flora was always considered a bit slower than most, so Ilse talked slower, so that this simple man could comprehend simple words. "Do we have enough dinner tonight?" Ilse said, a bit louder than her regular speaking voice. Flora nodded affirmatively. Ilse looked at her Rolex and said slowly, "You should get a move on if we are to dine before dawn." Ilse pat Flora's hair like a dog. He growled slightly as if appreciative of the gesture. The hawk went into a back room, even behind the one he sharpened his knives, to a pen. He opened the wooden frame pen and plucked out a naked Oriental woman who was gagged and bound, one of many in the human pen. She struggled like a worm on a hook. The big man proceeded to hang her upside down and butchered her like an animal, draining the blood, slicing her like one may any hog. All the while, Ilse spoke to Cam and Kim as if it wasn't something worth addressing. "Why are you in the pen?" asked Ilse to the twins. "Looking for choice cuts," replied Kim. The twins walked over to the pen where there were 3 Asian women left, tied and bound. Ilse got on a cell phone while Kim and Cam opened the gate. They made lewd little gestures as they felt up each of the women. It was akin to picking fruit for them, making little foreplay maneuvers of kissing and rubbing. Ilse didn't concern herself with such trivialities while on the phone. Flora continued chopping the woman apart in front of the others, attempting to make time before dinner. Xander stood out like a sore thumb on the docks of Shanghai. There was bustle and lights that made the city move. He was dressed in an impeccable suit and impossibly handsome. His phone rang. Xander picked up as he watched Chinese sailors engaged in working conversation. "How long before?" said the voice of Ilse. Xander cut her off, knowing instinctively what she would say. 2 days, and I can't move any faster than I'm going, so I ask you not to call me again." Xander hung up as he watched sailors herd handfuls of beleaguered Chinese women into a huge shipping crate. Kim and Cam seemed to finally make a choice of pet. The twins collared one poor girl who was too weak to resist their unnatural strength. "Don't eat before dinner," yelled Ilse before the twins left the pen. "We won't," said both twins in an eerie unison. A family of monsters congregated in the lap of luxury in a mansion built of bones and misery. the decadence anathema to what they were, a perversion on top of a perversion. The table was long, so each member could have a seat. Ilse sat at the far end with the immense portrait of Father Wolf's murder looming so large behind her she seemed almost a character inside it. Marcus and William were just brought into the family proper recently after participating in the sacred hunt. William had emerged the champion, while Marcus was the lesser. Lord Bristol, the uncle of most and distinguished hunter even by human standards, sat at the table, along with Corona, Ilse's favored child, and Atara, the black sheep, in a family without human morality. Lord Bristol blissfully huffed his pipe, while the rarely addressed servants all entered the dining chamber with carts and trays, which they meticulously placed on the table. As they unveiled the feast and lifted the lids, there sat a barbecued carcass that looked like it could have been human, but sliced so artfully it was rather hard to tell. "Why do we bother to cook the meat? It makes us soft. We forget to hunt this way," Lord Bristol said, he being of high enough standing to speak his mind on such things. "No theological debates tonight, brother, please," Ilse said, holding back a slight annoyance and desperation. The old fox hunter begrudgingly agreed with a silent nod. Floor, the hawk, and the simpleton grabbed a piece of meat unceremoniously and gnawed at it like an animal. "Manners!" Ilse scolded the brute. Floor grunted like a beast. He gnawed at the meat just as furiously, but turned up his pinky finger to show class. "Do we have any news? It's been so long that we've ran as a pack together," the matron asked for anyone to answer. The twins began to subtly touch one another under the table as if they couldn't contain themselves, and they had beasts of a different nature to free. "We are besieged on two fronts, and our family is dwindling. The Great Spirit needs to bless us with more extended family," said Lord Bristol, the hunter. "Our stock is low. Xander claims that we will replenish in days," said Ilse. "What of him? Is he pleased?" asked William, who was bold to even speak amongst the elders without invitation. "Never. Our borders trump his needs now," said Bristol. "Don't be foolish. You know we only have what we have on his good grace," said Ilse, as if speaking of the Great Spirit as second to anything was blasphemous. Lord Bristol smiled weakly, merely to avoid the challenge. Atara, the black sheep, spoke. "What if I were to leave? What then?" Atara continued. The brute, Floor, grabbed Atara's hand violently, as if it were his job to silence her when she went on. William grabbed Floor's hand, though he was much stronger than him. Floor being a mountain of a man, and William the molehill by comparison. William attempted to defuse the situation without turning it into a battle. "Spinning her wheels, cousin. Don't let it get to you." Floor released Atara begrudgingly, as if it were merely to keep the peace. Atara, the woman without say in this family of monsters, stormed out of the dining hall, upset that she had no voice. All the family disregarded her the moment she was out of sight. Some even before that. "Is anyone pregnant? Have you heard? Father is overdue for his return," Ilse asked the collected family. "In 2 years we haven't had a pregnancy," William added. "We need to give him more souls. Souls by the dozens," Ilse proclaimed. "We give him enough as it is. There is a limit even to depravity," said William. "We can't hold our borders if we fail to restock troops, and if he won't let us reproduce, then we lose everything," Lord Bristol declared. "I will talk to him. It must want something," William said with youthful arrogance. "No, you do not bother him with your trivial talk. If you anger him, think of how much worse it will be. Think of your family," said Matron Ilse. "Maybe he thinks he's saving our souls," said Kim with dripping sarcasm. "Why shouldn't I? Soul searching only leads to doubt," Cam piggybacked off his sister's statement. "For you, maybe," William said with words to cut in. William looked at the twins with a smirk, as if they should know their place and shut the fuck up when he was talking, and they knew the reason why.